Alright, this is part 6. This should be the last one. And we are talking about many things: demons, emotions, will, possession, and exorcist. So now we're going to get more into where I'm talking more about the church, because I saw what all stemmed this, which I've had thoughts of doing videos on it before, but apparently it wasn't the right time, and here it is. So I saw a video and I wrote down certain parts, and I wanted to give my intuitive thoughts, which I've done the majority of it already. But I wanted to talk about the words that were said by, it was a Catholic priest in a video. But the numbers that they have and show you are not the actual numbers that the priests actually think they are, which we'll get into that number. But what is reported does not include the ones who don't report it, who are too afraid, or they're not able to be helped, or, not part of the church or whatever. So those are not included. So, the number is much larger, just like all other things, and they are more larger than we know. So yeah, people don't report, or they are oblivious, like don't even know what's going on. Coming and going, being an autopilot, in and out. It's an emotional battle, and your will must be stronger, not cut off. And again, it's a process, but you're able to bring yourself back from that. And when it comes to, when we get into the time frames for how long it takes them to do an exorcism nowadays compared to before, it's just like spiritual awakenings. It's just like rehab, like any type of rehabilitation, where you're needing longer extended periods of time with more direct, individualized type therapies. Okay, so the top exorcists say that, diabolical oppression is 25%, and diabolical oppression would be 10 to 15%, and you can look that up. Then they say more people are turning to sin, but I ask yourself why. It's because that is all we see. That is what sells. Sin. Mainly the 7 deadly sins are what sells. And this is quoted here, but every mortal sin, and it's important to note what mortal is and what sin is, and we've talked about this, but is an open door to possession. And, all the words he's saying here are true, but it's the context in which you read it and interpret it that makes the difference. How you understand it, because they can say it all that they want, but if they don't explain it to you, in layman's term or simpler terms, instead of just basically scientifical, it goes just through one ear and out the other. So, in fact, mortal sin by its nature takes the person out from underneath the authority structure of God and places the person underneath the authority structure of Satan. The proper effect of mortal sin is possession. Now, that doesn't mean everyone who commits a mortal sin becomes possessed. Because even though the person opens the door, God is the one who determines whether the demon gets to step across the threshold. And so that means, by the mercy of God, most people who commit mortal sin do not become possessed. But the number of evil things is opening the door to demons getting more influence in this life. Again, if you go back and see the other videos, I will explain my explanation in it. But my rebuttal here, or my words here, the people's faith have turned, they have nothing to believe in. They had to turn to themselves, or this is what they're going to themselves. And this is a self-created environment, especially in churches, religions, where governmental bodies continue to blame everyone else but themselves. If the church does nothing to prepare the congregation to, cognation, of course, they will fall ill and sick, etc. If the church knows nothing of what truly ails us, would they truly ever listen? That's a question. If the church knows why people fall victim to the struggle and know how to remedy the situation, how come it's still here? That's a question. Do they even know what they are battling, or do they profit off the sacred, the sick, the weak? That's a question. There's no cure for exorcism, only the wisdom of acknowledging it for what it is. If exorcism or possession, parentheses here, they are opposites that work together. It's a lifelong, and it's not necessarily it does not have to be a battle like they tell you. It just doesn't. If you know how to navigate it, it's like our health. Our health does not have to be the way it is. Mental health, physical health. You've looked so hard into abolishing something to not working with it to find its root causes, for they are right in front of our faces. They wait for you to be at your sickest before they take action or start to take action. That's a... Hold on. Oh, I figured out what that is. I'm like, Mo, that's the M.O. So, when they give you those glimpses of hope, those miracles that, are often coincidental or, played out in a certain way, they draw you in, and by way of illusion, they play trick on the mind by way of psychology, science, and religion's text. When you feel better, your hero, but who teaches them after... after the exorcism, when they feel better, it's like they're the hero, like you've come in and saved the day. So that creates like a weird kind of bond in itself. But who teaches them after the exorcism how to avoid and stop it from happening again, besides the norms that they tell you? Because they have no idea, or they choose to divulge all secrets or different. They also blame a cult, but a lot of that is due to things they don't understand, or they don't take the time and effort to really understand each other. There's blockages all over in religion and when it comes to spirituality and all sorts of things. So it's best to discern at your own, and take what you need and leave what you don't. But in all honesty, if it was already there in your religion, you were born from the beginning, you've seen the rise and fall of many, yet still remain clearly unaffected, while your congregations run rampant with fear. Who's to say exorcists did not start a chain reaction in this world by not, they're helping people, but unknowingly, or, I feel like a lot of it was known, they are literally, doing worse for people, literally making them scientific experiments and taking them out of the natural way. But the exorcist is sort of what you would consider the witch doctor of the church, the ritual worker, the person who has conviction. So there is going to be one more part.